Hi folks, it's me again. I'm back with my first clip about mental health matters in the workplace. It's another beautiful day, so I'm back in the garden. And I'm going to talk to you this morning about loss, and I'm going to do it by way of a story. The story starts on the 12th of March. I was having a conversation with a colleague about this pandemic that was rapidly finding its way around the world, and we were just chatting, and we were saying, you know, I wonder if it's going to affect us here in South Africa. And my initial response was, no, I'm sure it's not. Surely it couldn't affect us here in South Africa. Anyway, needless to say, it did, and within days my business was quite dramatically affected. My workshops that I was running at the time 2 to 3 times a week were all cancelled. And then I found myself feeling quite angry, and my anger was directed all over the place. I guess some of it went to the people in China, some went to people who travel, some went to colleagues, people that I was working with, clients who didn't want my service anymore, and I guess some even at my family. And then I went through a phase of thinking, well, you know, if I control things, then maybe things will get better. So what can I control? I thought, well, I can exercise more at home, obviously. And then I thought, well, if I do that, then hopefully everything else will kind of fall into place. So I went on quite a strict exercise regime. But then, I don't know, a few weeks into the lockdown, I just found that I was actually feeling quite depressed. And I was feeling that way for a number of reasons. Firstly, my business was at a standstill, and obviously that affected my finances. I was isolated, I was missing friends, I was concerned about my elderly mum who lives far from me. She lives in Kommetjie in Cape Town. And I was just feeling quite down and wondering where this was all going to go. And then I guess it was towards the second half of the lockdown, I reached a point where I thought, you know what, this is it. This is what I've got on my plate, and it's what billions of people around the world have also got on their plate. I realized that I'm certainly not alone on this journey. And basically I accepted what I had, and I focused on the things that I could control, and I kind of let go of the other things. So why am I telling you this little story? Well, I'm telling you the story because what I've just demonstrated or highlighted are the 5 stages that people often go through when they're faced with a loss. It was first formulated by a Swiss psychiatrist, Elisabeth Kubler-Ross, many years ago, and it's been used ever since, with some criticism because obviously not everyone goes through the 5 stages, and not always in the same order either. But it is a bit of a guideline for people just to understand what they might expect from people who are facing a loss. And it can be the loss of a loved one, it can be a loss of one's own health, or in my case, it can be a loss of life as I know it, and quite a dramatic way. So I think it's just useful for you to know in the workplace, especially if you're a manager and you have people reporting to you, that you might see some different kind of behavior patterns, and just to try and understand that the people that are working with you may well be going through some of these stages. And I think when you understand why people are behaving the way they are, it's easier to manage. So there you go. Take that for now, and I'll be back with you again in a few days. Thanks for joining. Bye.